Before I share a short story of what event I consider to be the greatest cross in my life, I will explain first what I deem as take up the cross from a reading from the Gospel of Mark, as this greatly affects on my experience. So, although I am a Christian, I believe in the same God as Catholics do, and the way I interpret the Bible's teachings is similar as well. But since we Christians give great importance to a personal relationship with God, the way I will share my story is as raw of the experience as it really is, just the way how I came to God when I was mentally suffering. For me, to take up the cross is to identify the suffering and death of Jesus. So for me, this means to follow his teachings and to understand that life with Christ includes a life of faith, and as well as the reality of suffering. This entails that no matter what the hardships, sufferings, and challenges we may encounter, that we should still go back to our Father, our God, and most importantly, putting Him first above all things. Moving on to the main point, an event in my life that I consider to be my greatest cross is when I got severely depressed from last year till earlier this year. Quick spoiler alert, I am doing alright these past few months thanks to God's healing. Going back, to give a quick background about myself, I am an extremely anxious person, meaning I resort to overthinking most of the time, and I have a habit of quickly looking for the negative aspects of a situation, which is of course not good, but it started there. The main reason why I got severely depressed was because of the pressure from my mother when it came to academics and life in general. So to speak, I am an only child with a step sibling, but I was treated like the only child in the family. This meant that I had to take a heavy burden, as a lot was expected of me, or so to speak, everything was expected of me. Growing up a spoiled and loved child, I am grateful that I was raised kind and overall a good person. But this only resulted in me pressuring myself to give back my gratitude in terms of course, verbal ways, like saying I love you, thank yous, and appreciating my family through verbal affirmations. So, at the end, it's the actions that really mattered. The pressure that I felt that I must show my mother and my family that all of my hardships and sacrifices, or all of their hardships and sacrifices rather, wasn't in vain. This meant that I had to be an outstanding student in all stages of my education and was expected to quickly be responsible for the family financially as soon as I graduate and land a job. Although this may sound like the normal or common hardships a person must go through their life, I felt unsure all the time unhappy at times, and confused at times, whether I enjoy what I do or if I must continue to push through everything because of everyone's expectations of me. Despite all of this pressure that I felt and me further pressuring myself because of that, I had to seek help from God as I felt incredibly overwhelmed with life in general. I talked to Him and asked for comfort multiple times, guidance on what I should do to keep up with the difficulties and challenges that I experience every day. And of course, this includes me praying for my family and for my loved friends as well. So during the late months of my depression, I cried almost every night and talking to God about what I felt and asked Him what I needed to do and where I should gather the strength. And from then on, my heart felt lighter and my mind was clearer. Slowly, things start to turn for the better in my life. I started doing lots of positive and good affirmations. I tell to myself every single day. That included God's words that truly gave comfort to me. And then my relationship with my father and my sister and my mother has grown closer, and suddenly I felt less anxious. My heart felt lighter, as I said, and I felt less fear and anxiety when facing challenges in my life. So that is all from me, and this is what I consider to be the greatest cross in my life. Thank you.